the last 18 months or so, I've been working really steadily on a project called Comprises from Room 1170. It started really as just a blog that I was keeping for friends and family as we were traveling, trying to find a place for me to get a heart transplant. And I was writing songs here and there along the way, but it evolved into this huge undertaking that's really consumed every spare moment that I've had for about the last year and a half.
So I realized that I had roughly 24 songs that spanned this entire 6-year period that all of this had been going on. And it wasn't a normal heart transplant story, if there's such a thing. There were all these twists and turns and detours and backtracking, and you'd go to tell the story to somebody and you'd realize you were leaving out so many things that were really important. And it could be confusing sometimes, and you felt like you were kind of cheating the experience in a sense by not including those things. And so the obvious thing that comes to mind is, well, you should write a book about this, because it would take a book to really get into all of it. But when I started looking at the songs, I realized if you ordered them in a certain way and lay them out kind of chronologically, that the songs actually told the story of the transplant journey, of that whole 6-year period, and maybe even a little after, longer than 6 years. So what I did was I took each song and decided, I'll write a chapter for each lyric, for each song, and I will either explain the lyric or I'll write about what was going on at the time that I wrote the song. That way, on the other end, if someone's reading the book, they can kind of get the story and then go listen to the song, and the song will make more sense because my lyrics tend to be a little more metaphorical or allegorical or one of those oracles. Or they could listen to the CD, listen to the song, and come back to the book and get a little bit of a deeper understanding of what the song lyric was about. And in a very real sense, the two pieces, the book and the album, they're very much companions to one another because of that. Something I wanted to do, but I dreaded doing it at the same time, because when you consider how many times a book or an album has to be reworked before it's ready to release, I knew I was going to be dwelling on this stuff day in and day out, and it took a year and a half, so it was kind of depressing at times. The therapist that I was seeing in the middle of it, he asked why I was torturing myself with it on a daily basis.
There's a gravity or weight to the whole thing, because I wanted to honor what our family experienced, but this is also the story of my donor and his family, in so much as it intersects with mine. And the same is true of some of the other people who aren't here to tell their story. I don't know their whole story, but in so much as it intertwined with ours at some point, I wanted to give some voice to that as much as I was able to. So it was really important to me to take whatever time I needed to make sure that those songs are included and that those stories are included in the book as well.
So it's obviously very homemade in that sense. There were no producers or agents or publishers, and I'm the first person to argue normally that that's not a good thing. But the material was so personal to me, and I really needed to work on it in private because I was simultaneously working through a lot of the emotions in the aftermath of the experience. And I think it was good, it was healthy to get all that out of my head onto paper or tape, and however you want to say it, and expose it to the light. And it gave me creative control as much as possible. I was really selective about the people that I had to come in and add things that were beyond my capabilities. And there were things that were significant to me, whether it be, just phrases in the song lyrics, or connections between songs, or connections between things in the book and the album, or vice versa, that were very, very important to me that they be included, that might have been lost on a producer or other collaborators, even the reader or the listener. But to me, they needed to be in there. And I was primarily making it for myself. So it was nice to have that freedom that you don't have all the time when you're collaborating with other people. Conversations from Room 1170 is my story. It's my family's story. It's a filling in of the blanks for people who kind of knew what was going on, but they were really watching and praying from afar and supporting us from afar. It's the conversations and the details that happened along the way that led to so many of the big important decisions and events that took place. And it's the closing of a door for me, really a catharsis and working through of all that has happened. And hopefully it'll be helpful for people who are in the middle of their own struggle or difficult journey, whether it's a medical thing or something personal.